When Diddy went live on Instagram in 2020 to present a young Caucasian girl as his newly adopted daughter, the public was left puzzled, unsure how to interpret what they were seeing. The girl, appearing to be around 11 or 12 years old, gave an uneasy smile as he prompted her to repeat the new name he had given her. He expressed a desire to be seen as a nurturing, empathetic man. So upon encountering me, he apparently made the decision to take me in, inviting me into his home and suggesting I spend time with his children. At first glance, it appeared to be one of those unanticipated yet uplifting moments that celebrities occasionally drop into the digital ether. A powerful African-American business tycoon welcoming a child into his home amid the global confusion of a pandemic. It gave off the unmistakable impression of a savior narrative, the type of thing that circulates widely with emojis of hearts and applause. But there was an underlying strangeness that people couldn't quite identify. The feeling lingered. Fast forward to the present day, and that peculiar moment now carries a far more unsettling implication. Ava more or less disappeared from public view after that Instagram appearance. She was noticeably absent from typical family features. No celebratory birthday posts, no appearances in TikToks featuring the family, no spontaneous clips from daily life inside the Combs residence. What deepened the mystery further was how she was portrayed in the rare times she did show up. Observers began to notice she was almost exclusively seen near Diddy's sons, conspicuously never alongside his daughters. Her demeanor seemed tense and unsure, as if she was uncertain about where to look or how to carry herself. It didn't radiate familial closeness. It felt like public relations. Then, without warning, actor Terrence delivered an explosive courtroom declaration that peeled back another layer of intrigue. His statements weren't originally about Ava at all. He was testifying about Diddy's alleged predatory conduct in the entertainment industry. But mid-testimony, Terrence paused and made a cryptic remark. Something about an incident involving someone entirely unexpected. And suddenly, the internet began drawing lines between the dots. Ava. Why? Because shortly after that courtroom moment, Diddy's indictment grew wider. Additional alleged victims were included. Whispers started circulating that Ava might be among them. The young girl who had awkwardly appeared in a brief live stream might actually sit at the center of one of the most harrowing narratives in recent celebrity culture. That's when things began to spiral. Terrence Howard's words, though vague, took on greater meaning when he elaborated on a time Diddy invited him over under the pretense of receiving acting lessons. Initially, it seemed innocent, two actors bonding over the craft. But Terrence explained that the situation soon became uncomfortable. There were no scripts, no structured rehearsals, just prolonged stares. Then came an invitation to return, to play music and hang out. Eventually, an assistant took him aside and offered a warning. Diddy's not really interested in acting lessons. After that, Terrence quickly disengaged. That encounter was chilling in itself. But it became even more unnerving when Terrence later stated that in their world, once a man sacrifices his dignity, it's lost forever. Let's pause there and pick it back up. Audience members read between the lines. It didn't sound like he was solely referring to himself. Speculation began to rise. What if Ava was caught in this same twisted pattern? What if Diddy's so-called adoption wasn't motivated by kindness, but by opportunity? That idea gained traction when Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, stepped forward with revelations of his own. Gene had been present for much of what took place. He observed what the public never saw. According to him, Ava's debut wasn't a familial gesture. It was a strategic maneuver, a deliberate image-softening campaign at a time when the world was isolated and scrolling for feel-good moments. Gene claimed Diddy found Ava during the pandemic, showcased her online like a prize, and then removed her entirely once public interest faded. No school photographs, no follow-up mentions, only silence. And behind closed doors, Insiders were reportedly already suspicious. Some believed there was video footage, tangible evidence connected to whatever came next. Now, federal investigators are said to be thoroughly examining devices confiscated from Diddy, seeking concrete answers. That's where this narrative takes a dramatic turn. Because now, Ava isn't simply a name vaguely associated with a single moment. She's become the central mystery everyone is desperate to solve. Where is Ava Baron Combs? And what exactly transpired following that now infamous livestream? Diddy has never spoken of her again. No posts for Father's Day. No updates. Not even a subtle reference during interviews. And for someone known for documenting nearly every detail, parties, luxury events, birthdays aboard yachts, the silence felt louder than any direct denial. People started digging. The internet turned into a detective bureau. Screenshots were analyzed, timelines cross-referenced, that awkward live stream dissected repeatedly in hopes it held deeper meaning. And maybe it did, because Ava's presence all but evaporated after that. No official adoption documentation. No school enrollments. No tagged photos from classmates or birthday mentions from peers. It was as if she had been introduced to the public, and then deliberately scrubbed from existence. A vanishing so total it seemed orchestrated, as though someone wanted her gone without prompting questions. Then came a cascade of legal filings, not only targeting Diddy but implicating people close to him. His sons, Justin and Christian Combs, began to surface in court documents. Justin was linked to a case involving allegations of trafficking. Christian now faces a sexual assault lawsuit. These aren't dormant complaints revived from history. These are ongoing accusations with alarming details that echo Diddy's own. And this is where it becomes deeply disturbing. Ava, in the fleeting glimpses where she was visible, was seen alongside those two. Never with Diddy's daughters. Always the sons. Always the individuals now being connected to behaviors that are both troubling and traumatic. It raises a haunting question. Was Ava adopted for protection or possession? Gene Deal, still speaking out with years of secrets seemingly bottled inside, insists it wasn't merely about publicity. He says Diddy was perpetuating patterns he had learned from others in the entertainment ecosystem. Individuals who weaponized, influenced to exploit. And then he repeated the cycle. He began to do unto others what had once been done to him. Gene said in one video clip, "That's the way it goes in that realm. Either you get exploited, or you become the exploiter." If that's the case, then Ava wasn't some child rescued out of compassion during a crisis. She may have been another instrument, a pawn, a setup. One haunting comparison Diddy made during the livestream still lingers. Madonna. He said, "I adopted you like Madonna did," as if invoking that made it ordinary. But that statement has aged poorly. Madonna's adoptions have faced serious criticism for years. Accusations of trafficking, manipulation of legal systems, and taking children from their communities under questionable circumstances. So when Diddy casually likened his actions to hers, it didn't land as a celebrity anecdote. It felt like a slip, maybe even a confession. Though timeline offers no defense. Ava appears suddenly. The pandemic hits. Diddy's reputation is in decline after years of negative press. She's introduced. She disappears. Diddy's legal troubles escalate, and more names emerge. Insiders suggest some of the alleged victims were minors. Some may have been filmed. Some may have been trafficked. That's no longer just rumor. That's the focus of the ongoing federal probe. And at the center of it is a single, unresolved name. Ava Baron Combs. A child who may have entered a celebrity's home believing she was being rescued, but instead found herself in a darker, more dangerous world. Then came Cassie Ventura, Diddy's former partner, whose lawsuit tore through any remaining illusions. She wasn't ambiguous. She didn't imply. She declared. She detailed how she was surveilled, silenced, coerced, and exploited. She said she was filmed. She said she was terrified. And now investigators are trying to determine whether Ava may have endured something similar. Because the environment, Cassie described, sounds disturbingly familiar, and if Ava speaks, if she testifies, this will not be another case conveniently forgotten. It will be the case that opens the floodgates. Sense seemed to sense this was coming. He'd mocked Diddy online for years, throwing jabs that often seemed playful, but now appear loaded with deeper meaning. People once dismissed it as rivalry, egos battling under the spotlight. But now, amid the legal fallout, the taunts have grown more ominous. He's producing a documentary titled, "Did He Do It?" And it's not just a catchy phrase. It feels like a dare. In a now viral clip, 50 says, "They can't charge him for what we saw, but we can't unsee it." That statement hit hard because 50 Cent doesn't bluff. If he's hinting at footage, at evidence, then he's likely had it for a while. And he's no longer the only one. Sources close to the federal case now claim Ava Baron Combs is not missing. She didn't run away. She hasn't been silenced. She's reportedly cooperating. If true, if this child who was once paraded across screens like a social media project is finally prepared to speak, it will change everything. Because then, it's no longer hearsay. It's testimony from someone inside, someone who witnessed it firsthand, someone who saw what we weren't supposed to. If Ava recounts what happened behind closed doors, who she was exposed to, what was expected, what may have been recorded, then the years of scattered allegations may suddenly connect. Terrence Howard's hints, the lawsuits, the sealed documents, all of it. It might explain Diddy's recent spiral. The hush money, the deletions, the PR blitzes that seem more reactive than strategic. The man who once reigned over music, media, and luxury culture now watches his empire unravel from the core. And this time, the world isn't looking away. Screenshots are archived, videos preserved, legal filings followed like the plot of a thriller. Only this isn't fiction. It's real. If Ava speaks, she doesn't just become a witness, she becomes a symbol for every silenced victim. Not just in Diddy's orbit, but across the entire industry. Because what this case reveals isn't a single man, is dissent. It's the exposure of a system that has hidden predators behind the masks of fame and wealth for far too long. And the silence is breaking. You can hear it in the absence of celebrity support, in the sudden distance from former friends, in the way the powerful are preparing for impact. They know what it means when Gene Deal won't stay quiet, when 50 Cent stops playing, when federal agents start seizing data. People used to ask, where did Ava go? Now they're asking, what? Does she know? And that shift, that simple change in the question, might be the thing that brings it all crashing down. Because if even a fraction of the rumors are true, then Ava's story won't just be part of Diddy's downfall. It will be the spark that burns the entire illusion to the ground.